Hello, sir. How are we doing? Rudy King Bantu in the house.
Hello, hello. How are you?
Yeah, all good, man. Excited. We've been working hard at this, but glad to have you on board, man.
Yes, I'm good. I'm good. I'm feeling great to be here, man. I'm feeling great. It's been a long time, so
Let's make it happen. Well,
Yeah.
so the whole interview series is about getting to know immigrant artists who are active in the UK, who've been hustling, who've been working their butts off. I need to make sure. I need to watch my language. You see, I'm already.
hustling.
We are hustling, yes.
Yeah,
And you are, I believe, originally from the Congo,
yeah. Democratic Republic of Congo. Yeah.
right? But you also grew up a part of your life in Scotland.
Yes, I
So-
came down in Scotland when I was 14
14
years
years old. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's you're already in high school getting there. There's already a lot of rivalry with the kids. There's a bit of
old. Yes. there was a
they're
lot
already
of that.
picking up on stuff. Yeah,
There
that's
was a
how
lot
that
of that.
goes. And also, you are a man of many projects and talents. You're a dancer, instructor. You're an entrepreneur. Like I had a quick look, to see who I'm
Yeah.
dealing with, and it's
Yeah,
like just
yeah.
like project after project after project.
Yeah.
So you're
Yes,
keeping
yes.
busy.
Yes, I am. I am keeping busy. Growing up, I didn't really think that I was going to be doing all the things I'm doing now, but I would definitely say dancing has definitely painted the way.
Right. So dancing was the way into the creative industry.
Yeah.
So let's start with that. So was it something that happened early on, or
No. I would say I didn't know. I didn't know this is how it was gonna be. But I would say getting involved into dancing, going to dance workshops, and dancing in the streets more so, being in the streets of Glasgow, dancing, being around people, definitely set me up to be in this place because by having the passion of dance, street dance, hip hop, the people, the culture, being outside, away from school, away from home, and
Yeah.
it was like a real hip hop scene, like the way we see it on TV.
just
Yeah.
basically just kids trying to find a way to pass the time that's not
Yes, yes.
destructive and
Yes, and then
expressing themselves.
yeah, and then through that, we managed to use the talent, the little skill we had, to go to workshops. There will be like a little community center that's got something going on, so we'll go there so we can make use of the space. And today, it's pretty much what we do.
Yeah, I mean I've seen it. You've got how many businesses you got?
So-
that you're willing to talk about. I don't know and be like tell me all your secrets, but
I am willing to talk about everything.
right.
Because I've not had like an interview like this in order to be able to really express myself or talk about the things that I do. I've been on job, like we say, on job, hustling for a long time, a lot of years. And I don't remember the last time I sat like this and be able to be like, this is what I do.
So you must have a lot of. I know along the years there's a lot of lessons we learned. There's a lot of little, victories,
a
a lot
lot.
of losses at the same time.
A lot of lessons, a lot of losses, a lot of victories. But today I can definitely say victory and success for me is viewed different than the way I viewed it back in the days.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. So I definitely can talk about it, but I want you to
No,
take me through that journey.
Yeah,
where-
I'm curious about this. So, how would you say your definition of success in this industry changed from where you started out to where you are now?
I will use my wisdom in order to say in a way where people can understand how I see things now. From the day I walked into Scotland, the universe or God, like everybody said, would have presented the land to me where he said, Rudy, here is a land, take over. Not take over in a way where do some bad stuff, no.
But the land of opportunity.
Yeah,
you
land of
grow.
opportunity, like grow, learn, become, you are that person. So explode into a bomb. But all of that came with a lot of things because I didn't know who I was, what I was capable of. I was 14. I came from a big family, powerful family. but at the same time, there's a lot of things with it. So I had to relearn,
Yeah, I mean,
readapt, integrate.
yeah, I was gonna say at 14, that's what I picked up on originally, which was move into a new country at 14. You're not adult yet, but you're literally in that phase of like figuring out your own identity, finding your place in your community, and suddenly the community changes.
Yeah.
So now you're like, you're already in limbo mentally. We're like, who am I? But now it's like, who am I here?
Yeah. Or who am I trying to be? Or who am I going to be? What can I do? What can I not do? Because you have this land of opportunity with a lot of people, different nations, different cultures, things that you couldn't do when you were in Congo. Although you had the possibility or you had a good life that you were able to do, you couldn't do any of that. But you're now in this place where you don't have what you had when you were back home, but you can do pretty much everything. But everything comes with everything else. So getting involved, especially when you're young, you have to get involved in things, surrounded crowd, people, influence, and all of that had a part to play with it. But dancing was, for me, what got me where I was going, because I met different people, I got involved in stuff, but dance was the greatest escape. We met up a lot because we could all dance.
Right.
We could all just hang around and dance.
And I'm guessing that dances has, like music, has that unique thing of that you can communicate without words.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of barriers that you
yes.
don't have culturally with dance.
Yeah.
Because suddenly you can, I've danced around, I've met people from different parts of the world that, I might not even speak their language, they don't speak mine, but we can interact in that way. We set the rules basically of like, hey, I can do this, I can do that. But then we're just having fun together.
Yeah. So that's basically how I was moving around with it. But today, like you said, I do a lot of things, and dance has gave me this platform and this presence, this identity. And through dance, I finally managed to find who I am, my originality, what I stand for, where I'm going with it, and it's a lot more stronger now because, like you were saying, you really wanted to know what I mean. How do I describe success? For me, it's been successfully being able to know who you are 100%. Right. I call it the 100, like the level 100. Knowing who you are. What does that come with? I believe in my. Oh, sorry, that's my phone.
That's okay, man.
Now I think in my bloodline, I come from a long-lasting life of king and ancestors and gods. I'm a descendant of very powerful type of people.
Right.
All right? So deep inside me, without knowing, I always questioned. There's something, what's this inside me? I feel like there's more to me.
There's that energy, there's that drive.
Since I was young, you always find me in the middle of people, either telling a story, either kicking about, playing football, or doing backflips off tires, or running around. My mother always used to say, if you want to find Rudy, go where he said he was going to be, and where there's a crowd, you will find him in the middle. Now, that can be, described in many ways throughout my life, in which part you would have found me with loads of crowd.
Yeah, so it's like there's a thing that you come back to, which is the performance side, the expression side.
Performing, expression, talking, being around people, knowing how to be with people. I always known, I didn't know that I was a people person, but I know I'm a very people person. My energy is driven by making sure the next person that's next to me is good or great. There's always this need or want to be like, are you okay? Are you good?
The little check-in.
Where are you going? What's the plan? How can we make your plan good? Where do you see yourself? Do you like dancing? Do you like music? How can we get you to become the greatest musician? There's always this need or wanting to unlock more for the next person. I always felt that. But during lockdown, I felt like I did that for myself.
Right.
So I did a lot of unlocking for a lot of people. So I wanted to unlock myself.
Fair.
So for unlocking myself, I dived deep within myself, history, went back to the ancestors, debunk religion and all this crazy stuff. And then I came to understand that I am actually a powerful force walking in this earth. So through dance and everything else I had put my hands into, which is turns out to me that is actually potential powerful businesses. And I came to understand that I was actually a genius from the get-go, and I just didn't know.
Nice.
So now I sit at home with all these ideas and great potential companies that I get to understand they actually are companies that can employ people in the future. I sit there and say to myself, how come nobody could have seen this coming? Nobody's seen this coming, because I always had someone telling me, oh, well, how come you doing all this stuff, man? Why you doing this, man? Why you doing that, man? Man, you all over the place, man. You're unorganized, man. I say, yeah, I'm unorganized because I don't know what's going on in here. Don't know what's going on in here. Everything outside seems so good, but I want to understand what's going on here. And everybody that got to get near me, one thing they got from me was support and that power to unlock themselves. Anybody that would experience Rudy should or can be able to say, being around me, allow them to unlock the next level to themselves just by talking or being around. Because most of the stuff we did was hang around a lot, talk a lot, be around. Somebody's going down, it's become your problem. That's how, you know.
So just looking out for your nearest community.
Yes. We had numbers of people when we used to hang around growing up. Yeah, I use that a lot because that shaped me up. When I say Rudy King Bantu got created in Scotland. It got made in Scotland. He was born in Congo throughout those genes of the deep things I think about, but it was made in Scotland.
You got forged into the person you are.
Yeah, there was a time I asked myself, why Scotland? From where I came from, like, out of everywhere. I definitely didn't want to land in the US.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No. But why Scotland? I always had to ask myself. Now I understand. It was so I can be made.
So you can forge yourself.
Yeah.
Do you get that sometimes? Like you feel like you look back at yourself and you're like, I had to like literally carve myself out of stone. It just feels like I just had to do so much work to get to a place where I'm like, I know who I am.
Yeah.
Just it feels heavy, doesn't it? Just,
it does. It does. The fighting in the scheme, the racism, the integration, the bullying and all of that was part of the process, because through the racism with the boys that didn't know how to work with me, friendship was created.
Yeah, let's go into like a little bit in the story. We talked a lot of theory stuff, but let's go into the stories, the nitty gritty. So you're 14 years old, right? Yeah. And your parents, or I don't know obviously the context, but your parents say, okay, we're moving to Scotland. Yeah, so my mom moved to Scotland. She had made the choice that she wanted a better life for our children, so she's going to come to Scotland. And she had already moved in Scotland with my two younger brothers. Right. So I was coming to join her, reunite. So your mom, two brothers are here already. Yeah. You're still back home. Yeah. With family, I'm guessing. With my dad. I was back home with my dad and my little sister. So I was basically coming here to reunite with my mom, because she had planned that she wanted to stay here now. So when I was 14, I came down. I flew by myself. 14, that's... Yeah. I got put on a plane. I landed in Gabon. I got another plane. It was a massive plane, Boeing 750, something like that. And then there was like only 20 passengers because it was late. And then there was out of plane, but they didn't want us to stay there. So they wanted to just take us to London. We arrived to London. And
I stayed in London for a week with my auntie. It was very cold. And then after that week, my mom came to get me in London, and she brought me to Glasgow.
Right. And this is all you 14 doing all this traveling by yourself. The paperwork that needs to go into this, madness.
Yeah. And I didn't know much about Glasgow, Scotland, but the real idea I knew about Scotland was where they wear those skirts. You know what I mean? The kilts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's definitely something I knew. Of course, Scotland, that's where you find like the William Hill,
William Wallace.
William Wallace with the knife and all that.
Yeah.
That kind of idea. But when I came into Scotland, it was different than what I've pictured. I lived in Torrigland. The first place I lived in when I came into Scotland was Torrigland, Prospective Circus in Torrigland. That's the south side. Yeah. And 2002, I think. Yeah, 2002. Okay. And it was new to me, but there was already a lot going on. Like so
2002. That's 9/11 just happened the year before, so everything just not shutting down a little bit, but like travel becomes slightly different. There's that anxiety, there's that war in the air, you know, the people. So the whole society was a bit like,
Yeah. And it was new to me, but when I look back at it, is the community of Glasgow had minimum black people, or the immigrant was like referred as immigrant or refugees and things like that. So there was no like a lot of them. You get like more the Asian, like the Pakistanis and Indian were more like
present.
They were more present more than us. We were like asylum seekers because you claiming asylum to live in Scotland. And from there, I started to navigate my way. But one thing that was pretty apparent, it was trying to not be accepted, but there was a race barrier that had to be broken because the young Scottish kids was really just.
I mean,
they didn't know different. They didn't know any different. So you had to like reteach them the love, the it's okay, the old black bastard, and go back to your country.
I mean, you can still hear that. You know, I'm Romanian, so I'm familiar with that.
So all that had to be redone, and in order to break barrier with certain group, you had to fight to stand up for yourself. You get chased. Like I remember Torrigland, you get chased around.
I mean, just as a community, how big was in Torrigland? How big was the black community?
It was small.
As a kid?
So I moved into Torrigland. Bear in mind, Torrigland is just Torrigland. There's loads of places to get what I mean. So I just moved into Torrigland. So while I'm in Torrigland and that's happening to me, I didn't know that there was more of Scotland. So I managed to navigate through Torrigland first, because before stepping out of Torrigland,
you want to have a base.
Yeah, because when I stepped out of Torrigland, that's when the whole journey began.
Yeah.
Because in Torrigland, it was just like you came out of the flat, you're downstairs, you navigate around the neighborhood. Everybody around the neighborhood is pretty much as far as you can go. There was a little Asda there, there was a sports center there. And then through there was a community center. Now through the community center, it came breakdancing workshops.
Right.
Through breakdancing workshop came the whole stepping out of the neighborhood, because now we could go to other places like Castlemilk Youth Complex to take part in other more workshops. They'll have a recording studio, a dance studio, a refectory place you can play, things like that. So we'll go there, and then school start to happen. And then from school, you start to step out of Torrigland. You start to go to Castlemilk, for example. Now, I had to fight my way through Torrigland. I'm running around and getting chased, getting called names, and then fighting, and then everybody was cool with me now.
You had to like.
Yeah, it was.
It's like you're on this certain level. It's this weird kind of respect where like, they might not find in the beginning they don't know you and they not necessarily like you. After that they're like, well, they don't know you, but they're not gonna tell you anymore because they're a bit like, okay, it's not worth. You know. And then after that, you know what? I actually begrudgingly like him because he stands up for himself. And after a while, it becomes. He's all right. He's one of us.
That was a very important part of growing up as a kid. It was every time you stood up for yourself, everything was fine. I look back here, I was like, that's quite a good life survival check for, yeah, like for a kid. Because back home, although we were fighting physically, we'll fight. Because back home, the girls were really strong. From where I come from, girls are really strong. Do you get what I mean? So back home, it was like, it was not just fighting to make friends and everything. We were just fighting. It's part of it. There was nothing much.
It's kids, trying to manage your emotions.
Yeah, but you would fight in school, you would fight at home, but you wouldn't fight with the kids in the street because now you fear them. So it was something we just used to play around. But here, it was out in the streets.
It was, yeah.
It was being out, and you random boys like, what you saying? Wait. You're like, what? And then you realize that it's about to go down. And then you don't even talk, boom, you're already down. So you have to learn to be strong and
own your presence.
Yeah. And then eventually that strength built into confidence. Confidence turned into something else. And then without knowing, I was breakdancing, and then breakdancing took over everything because now I was like, mom, breakdance. And then I'll go to school. School, I was very good at physical activities, liked physical activity. And then there was the whole stepping out of schools and going into the city. It was now going into the city center.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so when I stepped into the city center, it was a different world than Torigland, Casamerk, high school. City center was like, it was like the world.
Of course, yeah. That's why like this suddenly it's like all the other neighborhood kids are coming to the city center.
Everyone was coming into the city center. So when you go in the city center, I remember my first day, I lied to my mom. Because my mom used to dress me up, nice, dressed up boy. We come from Congo, we know how to dress, you know.
Yeah.
So I'll dress up, my FUBU jumper, chain, and trainers. And then that day, because she only knew Torigland is going to Torigland, or is playing in the sports center, or is going to Casino.
Okay.
She didn't know I had crossed over that way. That's city centers. That's the city center word. That's the word that the parents don't really know.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So when I went to the city center that day, I had lied. I said, I'm going to a festival. Every new journey for me was a party. I said, Mom, I'm going to a party. I'm going to a party. I'm going to a festival. That means I'm going to a new journey. When I got to the city center, it was a Saturday. It was sunny. It was busy. And I arrived, and I walked into town, and it was just shops and big buildings. But this boy took me specially up to Buchanan Galleries, the stairs.
So this is your first time by yourself?
Yeah.
Going to the city. Like, I'm doing this now.
It was like Rudy now going on a journey. And I walked into the Buchanan Galleries, the Royal Concert Hall, the set of stairs.
Yeah.
And then in that set of stairs, it was mobbed with youths, mixed youths. They were dressed up in hip-hop clothes. They looked so cool. But the first thing that clicked into my mind, it was like, that's my people. Because I used to walk like this in Torigland, dressed up in hip-hop. And I used to be the odd one.
Yeah.
It was like all the boys would dress up with their joggies different, but my joggies is different because I like the hip-hop. So it was like I was looking for a tribe where I can fit in.
Yeah.
And then in school, we had a little group of boys that we hang around with. So we would dress up in hip-hop, but we get on the bus, we go up to Casamilk, walk around Casamilk. But we didn't know that we were actually the only boys walking around trying to be cool, but there was a place for us, city center. So there was all these people. And then from that day on, I remember the boy didn't want to go up to the stairs because there was so-called Black Panthers at the time.
Okay.
Which was also a group of boys from different nations mixed up in Sahel, Red Road, which is the Pinkston Flats or something like that. They just grew up together, and then they had a reputation. They called themselves the Black Panthers, like like the Panther Party in America. And they've basically, they were like a force of hip hoppers in Scotland, in those areas.
And they're also reaction to, someone that's like not what was I going to say? It's like just kind of this fighting environment, this aggressive environment.
Yes, they were like a force. reacting to the whole go back to your own country, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Because there was so many of them, they were like...
Hostile, that's on the hostile environment.
Yeah.
So they had to like...
Yeah, so they were like, we're going to become
strength
a
in
group.
numbers.
So this young boy, he was from Iran, Erkan, I remember him. So it was me, dressed up in hip-hop, and Erkan dressed up all nice, smart. And he was like, oh, Rudy, come, let's sit here in the stairs, but far away from the actually stairs where the people are sitting. He was like, let's sit over here. And, you know,
He was playing it safe.
Yeah, you know where Sainsbury's is?
Yeah.
He was like, let's sit here. So I'm like, what do you want to sit here when everybody's over there? He was like, oh, no, don't go over there. Black Panthers. Oh, don't go over there. So he probably had heard stories and things like that. But I was like, no, I dragged them and I walked up to the set of stairs. And then the first person, my first interaction on that stairs was with Sami Omar. Sami Omar, Up to Standard.
Right.
I don't know if you know Up to Standard.
Not by name, no.
Yeah, but I'll put it out there. Sami Omar from Up to Standard. He's probably the CEO of Up to Standard. He was the first guy I met. And Sami looked all good, dressed up in hip-hop. And then I walked up to him because he was surrounded with all these girls. And then he was like, what hey, bro? And then I was like, hey, and he shook my hand. And he checked like this. He was like, yeah, what's up? What's your name? I was like, oh, I'm Rudy. He was like, Rudy. And he said, rude boy, yeah? And then at that point, I felt a sense of belonging.
Yeah, your community just
After
grew.
I shook his hand, I turned around, everybody was like, hey, yeah, she fist bump, high fives. I was like, oh, yes. And then Erkan, that was scared to go up the stairs, he was getting high fives and fist bumps and checks, overwhelmed. And then we both were now in the middle of this crowd that he didn't want us to come into. And then from there, I connected with all these people, and I met a group of boys. I remember Fahad, Mario, Dima. They were like other me's. And then they just arrived, they were playing the basketball game and they won. And then they arrived and people were clapping and everything. A lot happened in that day.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it sounds like it's a very memorable day for you.
And then from there, I connected with them. Oh, what's your name? I said, I'm Rudy. Hey, Rude Boy. They keep saying, every time I said Rudy, they were like, Rude Boy. And then the tag attached itself to me. It was a thing now. I was like, yeah, I'm Rude Boy. You know, I got into that hype. And eventually, we got together. And then we used to go up to this place called the Shack, where we do, it's like an under-18 club.
Mm-hmm.
And then over there, that's where I saw the Circle, where we go an under-18 club party. It looks like an over-18, but it's under-18. So we go into that place, and then there's a massive queue. Like
I mean, under 18s always love to think that they're over 18. So like if they go to a club, they want to have that vibe. Even
I've never seen a queue like that in my life. A massive queue. Bear in mind, this is the first time I stepped into the city center.
So this is all in, was it?
One day.
Wow, okay.
One day.
Ooh,
One day.
The ass whooping you got when they found that.
I did came home late, and I did get told off and everything, but everything that happened to one day was not anything we could come back from. From that day on, my head was mind blown. I was like, like the city is where I want to be.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then in that club, we did a circle. We went to that place, loads of kiosks. Oh my God, a club. Loads of people dressed up. We were dressed up like we were adults, but we were not. We were like young. The whole movement. It reminded me like a State of Property movie, a hip-hop movie. All the things we saw on TV was real life style hip-hoppers, all of us. And then there was cards. They were giving out VIP access cards to them because they were cool. And then everybody waiting on the queue, and then you get the pass, and you got N.
So suddenly you're like feeling extra special. You're like, yeah.
You got N, and then you said you were dancing, and then there was a circle. My first ever circle experience. Now, bear in mind, I already been practicing breakdancing. Yeah? I always breakdance in school. I'll do backflip, run up for walls. In Torrington, they call me the backflip boy. They used to know me in the skim. We used to run around, but I'll do backflips. That black boy that does backflips and all that. So they knew me for doing backflips. But in the new place that I was into, I didn't know it went to the extreme as street dance in the club.
Yeah, yeah.
In the circle was big, and then the boys the boys, the Fahad, the Marios, they were actually little Panthers. So Black Panthers were the big guys, and then their little brothers had created a movement called Little Panthers.
So trying to emulate it, trying to
LPs, Little Panthers, and then they took over the circle. They had cool moves. I thought I was the only one break dancing, but there were more of us. So they jumped in the circle doing all these cool moves, and I was mind blown. And bear in mind, I'm new. Now that circle, you don't step in if you ain't got no move.
fair.
You know what I mean? If you don't have no moves, don't step in.
Even if you don't have moves, you have to be willing.
Willing to step in, and then whatever you're gonna do it with, power.
Own it. Just do it. Don't.
So I was afraid to step in. I've been breakdance. I can do handstand, scissor kicks, backflip. I was afraid to step into that circle. And then somebody pushed me in. And then boom, I was in the circle.
And now it's like
And
you
then
got no choice.
I went upside down and started doing scissor kicks. So upside down, my legs are going like this.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Now, there's moves that everybody masters when they're breakdancing. Some people go power in certain areas because when the circle was happening, there was turtles, jackhammers, 6 steps. Some people was doing handspin, but there was nobody upside down. So when I went in and I did the scissor kicks, it was something that it was not part of anybody that had that. I just heard a big whoa. And then when I got up, everybody was jumping, and I was like, oh my God, it was adrenaline. From that day, there was no coming back.
It sounds
I went
like
home, I got shouted there. It was like it went over my head. All I could think about going to school and then speed up to Saturday. I wanted Monday to be Monday, Saturday. And going to school and doing what I have to do, man, I knew now I had this place I could go to. In school, I was like one black boy amongst not many. We had 3 black boys in Casimir High School.
Oof.
Me, Farhan, and Yusuf. 3 black boys in the whole schools.
I mean, I'm not gonna. It's sometimes school can be a bit like prison. You always hear the stories of like suddenly these gangs develop and everyone's got their own community. It's a bit like there's like shot callers and It's a lot of that of like, where's my people?
I know. It is.
You can be the lone wolf, but at some point someone's gonna pick on you. You're gonna have to step up and.
So being in that tribe in the city centers gave me more strength because I already was fighting my way through Tory Glen, but now I'm in town. I've got this big, massive surrounding of people that fit in with my. It's like a tribe, so I was feeling extra confident. So in Casimir, being among 3 black boys in the whole school was not really something that phases me. So I didn't act on being good looking. It was not a thing like, yeah, I'm good looking. But I was aware that I'm not ugly because I used to be bullied by school boys. Yeah. And the way they would bully me was to trying to say things to me that I didn't have, that I had.
Right.
So like some boy, I remember his name, James Aidens. He used to call me ugly.
We're getting shout outs now.
Yeah.
How you doing, James?
Or they ugly. And the reason he was calling me ugly because I was good looking.
Ah, man, was jealous.
And my first day in school in Casimir, I realized that there was not a lot of black people. So I sat with a group of black girls, Fiona and Julie. And then in lunchtime, there was a group of Scottish girls that invited me to sit in a circle.
Oh.
And I was set in a circle in my school with 30 girls like this.
James had the jealousy in him. James was like,
They were asking me questions. They was like, you look like the guy from Save the Last Dance. Oh my God. All of them. It was like the House of Parliament. And I didn't obviously understood it, but I was in that situation. But I felt like that had turned the boys against me.
yeah, well, if there's one thing a teenage boy hates is another teenage boy who's good with the girls.
And my sneaks. Can you see my sneak?
Yeah.
And my sneak game is on point. Yeah, because from where I come from, prior to being 14 years old, the sneak game in Congo was on point. So we knew what we were, you know. So coming here, I knew what to put on my feet. So when I went to school, high school, like Casimir, I had trainers I like trainers. So I wore like
I want to double check this. The Sapeurs society.
Sapeur la Sap.
That's from Congo, right?
Yes, it's a thing.
Oh, I've been looking at it. I was like, damn, I need to copy some of those.
Yes. It's a thing. So we have this thing about dressing and, you know. So when I went to school, I would wear trainers. I would buy trainers from Foot Locker. I'll put a deposit on. And my mom had showed me how to put like £10 in deposit for trainers and pay every month until you get like 2 free trainers instead of just buying one that's expensive.
Right, okay.
So I'll keep on doing that. So I get my Jordans, my End ones, and and I used to wear trainers like that in school. So as much as I didn't speak fluent English, as much as I didn't know everybody, but I had something about me.
Yeah.
And now I had entered this new tribe in town that basically brought the light out of me because they would look like me, they dress hip hop. So that just made it even stronger. So I'll go into school feeling like that.
Yeah. Oof.
But then I have to fight in school for that. What could you think you are? So now they know that I'm cool like that, so I must represent some people from town. So now I became a target from the cool boy in school that is from town. It turns out I was going into town.
Yeah.
So, well, you think because you're from the tent, and then that became something in school. And now I had to do the whole Toriglan experience.
All over again
in school.
Oof.
And then Christopher, my younger a boy that I grew up with in Toriglan, came into my school. We grew up together in Toriglan. He was younger than me. He was like my little brother, his friend. But when I first moved into Toriglan, I remember I didn't even mention him on the day. I should have mentioned him. He was the only person on that first day in Toriglan that came to see me because he was dog in school. And then we became friends, close, and he came to see me. So we became like partner in crime. So a lot of things I did, got into a fight and everything in Toriglan, it would have been with Christopher.
Yeah.
He would have been there. And then he was in primary schools because he was my younger brother's age.
Oof. So he's stepping up into
the world. He was taller than me.
Okay. So he had the reach on him.
And he was edgy. He was always like, ooh. When I didn't know how to speak English, he could speak English.
Yeah.
He was like the homie. So he told me words. He's the one that told me you might have to fight your way out there. He's the one that told me that don't even let nobody mess with you. Punch them straight in the head. But I didn't do that until I had the confidence. But he was young because he's already been here like a year.
I see. Okay, he's got seniority.
Yeah. So and eventually when I got to understand that, it was later on. But he came to my school, so I was in S2. I remember trying to redo the whole Toriglan experience, and then randomly Christopher shows up in the school. So now I have extra pressure from a homeboy that I grew up with, that we both go to town from. So now I've got an extra edge in school. And then as soon as Christopher came to my school, that's it. The whole limitation of everything just stopped because now I was like, ugh. And then every time I'll get with the boys, it was always a push. I didn't really fight. I never got into a fight, actually. It's kind of interesting. I never got into a fight in school, but we did push each other.
There was a lot of shoving. There's a lot of posturing, love.
What were you saying? Who you talking to? I've got a bigger penis than you. Show us.
Man, kids come up with.
What do you want to see my parts? It's just because they've probably been told that the black man has something strong down there, so they want me to prove it.
Right. Okay. But kids come up with the.
And it was an interesting experience. But with Christopher being in my school, there was an extra edge, and then I started showing off more of me in school. It was not just now trying to just hold on into when I start showing off more of me. Now we start break dancing in the lunch time. We start going outside doing backflips because now I had somebody else that could do that.
Yeah.
And then eventually, it made it worse with the boys. I didn't fight, but I got attacked a lot of times, even outside school. So the boys would go and get the outside team.
Yeah. Oh, I'm from Romania. I was raised up Jehovah's Witness. I was a very good Christian boy. No fighting, none of this.
Yeah.
But I saw all of it. I saw, over the girls, someone's like, oh, by the way, this guy's mates are outside waiting for you. So we're trying to hide one of our classmates and make sure he gets out because the boys are outside waiting and all that.
Yeah. And you can't come out of school because somebody hates you because
they're walking around the school.
Yeah. So we had the refugees, like they called us. When we come out of customer school, we have to walk down, all the way down to the bus stop. And then we get the bus 75 all the way back to Toriglen because we came from Toriglen.
Yeah.
And when things like that start to happen, where you have a little shove with somebody, I didn't fight in school because I know I've never been suspended for fighting, but I had shoves. But when you show that you're not backing down, then they take it back to the neighborhood. It become a topic because I had came to Casimir High School with a reputation from Toriglen. I hang around with the boys in Toriglen because I also stood for myself in Toriglen. Toriglen hang around the schemes. The schemes were the fighting the Rathaglen and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the schemes fight amongst each other.
Yeah, so it turns out that there was a reputation on me because the first time I went to the scheme, I didn't know we were going to fight.
Well, that's actually good because I was just, as you're talking about it, I was thinking about, what's the psychology of it? Is basically... they feel like these bullies would feel powerful when they could exert this, they could show their power over somebody else.
Yes.
And they just wanted that high of feeling, I'm somebody.
Yes.
The moment there's a cost for that, because suddenly you're fighting back, you're standing up, they realize they can't get that cheap thrill, I'm the man.
Yeah.
So suddenly it's not worth it for them, it's worth it less.
Yes.
So
it's something that a lot of young kids that grew up walked with. But I think they followed a certain mindset because not everybody was like that. It was just a certain type of boys that wanted that little.
Well, there's the family as well of like you're in the environment at home where you feel that that's the only way to feel good about yourself. It's like stand out, be a big man.
Yeah, true. And all these events happened. We got through it, through fights and everything. But through all of that, again, it was just shaping up the picture from where I was heading. Because with Casimir, we even fight with all these boys in the areas and everything. We start going to Casimir Youth Complex.
Right.
Bear in mind, we're getting attacked by boys from Casimir. So we have problems with...
So you go into the problem.
No, but that's where...
No, but it's you're in the environment, yeah.
That's where the whole center was. That's where we could go and express more. There was a dance studio, there was a recording studio, and we went to Casimir High School. It only made sense for us to go to Casimir Youth Complex. And Casimir Youth Complex provided a van that came all the way to Toriglen to pick us up and drop us off on days that we were not in school, after school hours. And after school, we can just walk to it. But while walking to it, you have to meet up with the whole...
Well, you're a standout target immediately.
And being in the city center, because you were now empowered, you could not back down. I had an army.
You had a reputation to
maintain. You know what I mean? We were not like there to fight, but it was not easy to back down when you know you're confident, you're not ugly, you dress up nice, you can do backflip, you love PE, you can rap, do this, da-da-da-da. But every time you getting told you're not or you can't, you're like, it doesn't make sense. So
it's a part of you that just wants to show.
Yeah, and when you meet up with somebody or some kid or some youth or a group of kids, they're like, meh, meh. You're like, me. You don't want this smoke. That's really, you don't want this smoke because I came from a long way, and eventually it became something that got you through.
Right.
You can sometimes fair-in boys are led by two stupid boys that just want to ruin the others, but they're leading them because they cause trouble.
Yeah.
You standing up in front of a certain bunch can heal everybody else.
Yeah, it's almost like what suddenly they're not on the pedestal. They see that they're not untouchable.
One little boy that causes drama, the whole neighborhood causes drama. Boom! That was the wrong day. It was just not your day. Like everybody runs away from you. Like they've installed fear into your mind because of this young boy. So every time you see him, you duck and all that.
Yeah.
The wrong day. It was a wrong day, and then we just went head to head. Boom! And I fight. It turns out I'm stronger than you. Like it's literally that. And then eventually you realize that this person had trapped other people.
Yeah.
And then everybody becomes free. But
Yeah, it's a weird psychology that happens. Not weird. It's just a fascinating psychology that happens especially in those years, because again, these are people that have not found themselves yet. We're all kids.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of where do I fit in? Where do I get that confidence from?
Yes, and eventually, I grew out of that. Town became like my paradise. City center became my paradise. My mom didn't want to hear about it anymore.
That's what I was gonna ask, which was
my mom. How can I put it? Torigland became a bother for me because it didn't stop. Although you were fighting in Torigland, you have peace in Torigland, but you walked across, you reach in Govan Hill, you've got trouble. You walk a little bit, you reach in Kings Park, the same trouble. You go up to Casimir, the same trouble. You go in the center of trouble. As much as I loved the city center, it didn't end there. It was the place I wanted to be here because there was my people. I danced there. We walk with a boombox. We go into town, we put a boombox on the street showcase. Oh, we can perform. We sit there all day. We just sit there all day, dancing.
And just to keep in mind, all of this is happening. There's not like a previous generation of immigrants, asylum seekers that can helping you through. You're the first generation.
Yes.
Literally just paving the way, as it were.
I'm the first rebel of all the black African kids. Because prior to me, there was kids, African families that was there. And then I bring my own energy because I'm Congolese. Bear in mind, I come from a good family back home, besides all the things that took us out of it. So I think a lot of Congolese people knew who I was or who my mom was. But we didn't get that kind of, we didn't get that kind of support. That personally, I didn't think the black community helped me at all. I feel like the Scottish community helped me a lot. It was more like the Scottish people had more interest to help the refugees.
Right, okay.
Than just their own African communities. That's my experience. Without having to pull, I say pull, so I don't say the other word, without having to put a dark dump of all the African communities. But I feel like growing up there, the Scottish had help into my growth in terms of supporting what we stood for, not just for the refugees, but the creative part of it, the skill part of it, providing a space and
Well, yeah, potentially is because, like, obviously when you're refugees, they all come from different backgrounds. It's something that happens when you're minority groups. Is that, we all have our own rivalries. I'm from Romania. Yeah. Romanians, Hungarians, they have rivalries. Romanians and Romanis have rivalries. So it's when you show up in a new country. Two things can happen. You either all embrace, like, we're all, not from here, let's, pull together. Or you still kind of weird because, like, you bring in the old country rivalries with you, the old country mentality with you.
We did bring that also into it. That's me being honest.
But that's just what happens.
Yeah, that's honest. But I would say empowering where I was going, I felt like everything was shaped up by the Scottish community, how they provided all these spaces. Because I don't think I was rebellious because I wanted to be outside. I just wanted to be monitored because I was so adventurous. I wanted to be monitored, somebody to look at me and be like, this boy's got loads of energy, loads of power. He wants to do this, he wants to do that, he wants to do that. Keep up with him.
Yeah.
Keep up with him, watch him. Where are you going, Rudy? Mom, I'm going to do a bicycle. I'm going to ride a bicycle. Okay, let me get you a BMX.
You needed some sort of direction.
Yeah.
Which we all do.
Let me get you a BMX. Oh, Mom, I want to play football. Okay, let me get you a football and a football kit. There's loads of football teams in Scotland. I could have ended up playing for Celtic. If you get what I mean. If I started playing football enough, I would play for Celtic because I was talented. I was good in school, in football. I used to skin the whole pitch. I was fast. I remember, I remember my first day in PE playing football. I was last to be picked.
Okay.
The whole queue, I'm the only black boy. They picked me last.
They haven't learned about footballers yet.
Yeah, they picked me last. Bear in mind, in my head, I've got Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, Pele in my head. I've got all this.
Oh, man.
And I was not even good in football growing up.
That's like baseball discovering Latinos. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm kidding because, the same thing happened in Romania. Suddenly, all these European teams, they're like, suddenly it's got a couple of black players showing up. They're we get them in.
Bro, they picked me last. And I got on the pitch. I was faster than everybody. And I don't mean like super fast, but I just was faster than everybody. Not to blow my own trumpet, because recently one thing I do is I big myself up. I've not done that in years. What I'm good at, I'm good. What I'm great at, I'm great. When I'm kinging, when I'm calling myself a king, because deep inside my soul, I feel like I'm trying to revive something that we forgot. That's definitely in my bloodline. If you type into free generation, there's kingdom in there. Do you know what I mean? So that's me trying to awaken that again.
Yeah.
I see myself calling, even with everything I do right now, it's just like reviving a lot of things I do. But anyways, what was I saying before?
The football, they pick you last and you're the fastest on the pitch.
Yeah, I was faster. And then everything I tried, like the Pelés, the Ronaldinho, I was in a mature, I was pretending. All of the things I did in that pitch, it was me just having an idea of how these things was done. But it was good. It worked.
Right.
Next time I played football, ask me who got picked first.
I've got a feeling. Did they pick you first? Yeah.
It was me that they picked first. And I remember I played football that day, the day they picked me first. Bro, do you know how many times I got tackled when I got the ball?
Ooh.
As soon as I touched the ball, bro, it was like, rah, yeah. The PE teacher was like, get into football. And I got into the football team for school. Oh my God. I didn't last 2 weeks, and then I broke my ankle.
Oh, they coming at you hard. Ooh,
Yeah, I broke my ankle. Rehearsal, it was training and all that. They were tackling. The way they were tackling, it was like, now when I look back,
they were tackling with a purpose. They're like, take this dude out.
Yeah, like I will literally skin the whole pitch, and I'm running with the ball, and you can look back, and whoever's running behind you trying to catch up with you, his face has seen red. If he catches your leg,
he's taking
you out.
Yeah.
I got my ankle dislocated. My leg came out like this, and this part was empty, so my leg went here. And when they put it back, they put two screws in it. So I've got 2 metal screws keeping my ankle together that I've had for a while. That would have been my first injury doing anything.
And how old are you in this playing football?
14, 15.
Jesus.
That's my
Christ.
first year. That's my first year or second year into Scotland.
Again, teenagers have no mercy.
After that, I got into basketball. And I'm telling the story not in a particular timing. I keep going back and forward, because prior to playing basketball and football, it was before I go into the city center and all that.
Yeah.
So all of that came after.
Yeah, but it kind of helps to create that picture of how you became you.
Yeah. And I got into basketball as well, and I was quite good in basketball. I did basketball team. I played the basketball team in my school, and I used to do PE. I used to do a lot of flips.
What I was going to ask you about, which was the artistic side, obviously, so you discovered dancing, you go into the city centre. It's like, this is a 2-part question, which is, how did, your parents try to manage suddenly? I'm not sure if they were encouraging you becoming an artist long term, or it was something, do it as a hobby. And then the other thing is, when did you realize that you want to do it as a professional?
My mom, she didn't support me doing dancing. She didn't support me being outside. Obviously not for the bad.
Nah,
She did.
I
Yeah.
had the same
Yeah.
experience. I remember the argument. You think I'm gonna spend money on
Yeah.
buying you some stupid trumpet?
But I remember I was going to this workshop and she didn't know about it because I was more active in the community doing things that she knew about. Because I went to school, so there was opportunities. So I do these opportunities and things. You just get a letter or something. She says it's okay. She didn't really know what I was doing. If I went to a workshop, I did breakdance and I was good. She didn't know I was good. If I went to school, it was just the result. Like back home, you get the result. She didn't know that I was. She didn't know who I was outside. So when I was doing these things, she wouldn't know about it. But I managed to do them anyway. She started to notice that I'll come home late. That one was a killer. Coming home late, she didn't like it. And then sometimes she didn't want me to go. Maybe I've took part in a breakdance workshop and there's an opportunity. You want to be a part of the festival and it's a big deal. And I wanted to go and I said, Mom, I want to go. She would say no. And that would drive me nuts because I was like, Mom, you don't even understand. I'm a dancer. I can dance. And she didn't want to see it through. But one thing I remember, I said, I wanted to tell, I spoke to my mom and the men that her partner at the time. And I told her that I wanted to become a dancer. And there was a point, I don't know if it was me knowing that I wanted to take it like a career, but I was telling them that I loved to dance and I wanted to do it like an activity.
Yeah, I want to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like an activity. I was not like professional yet, but I wanted to do it like an activity. And she laughed. She laughed, and then her man said, "You think you're gonna become the next Michael Jackson in Scotland?" And I was confused. I was like, why are they laughing? Because I'm good. I can do scissor kicks. You have to see me in trash. Like in that moment when I was saying that to them, I had went to breakdance workshop. I had fought outside. I had flipped the narrative. I had broke down barriers. I had went to Casimir and ran around, got chased, almost got stabbed. I had went to the Casimir Youth Complex and learned how to rap. I can dance. I can be part of a crew in the city center where there's loads of us. I go to an under 18 club. She didn't know any of that. When I was telling her, Mom, I want to dance. She laughed. And she laughed. Inside me was like, oh.
I'll show you.
You have no idea where you just started. And there was a need to go outside. We went dancing and being outside, then came the whole conflict again. The whole conflict with the gangs,
the
and
crews,
the schemes. Because now there was a lot of us in town, a lot, numbers. Black Panthers was ruling. They were the big team, the Black Panthers. We salute. They dress up, they got our back. Little Panthers, we were ruling. We were the one causing trouble. Black Panthers laid back, they chill in the areas, they're older, they come out when they want, they dress up nice, they're older, we the young ones, we rebellious. And then we start dancing. Dancing became now the thing, going to dance in town and everything. And then throughout the Black Panthers and everything, there was other groups like Black Panthers, MCKillaz in Kingsway, Kingsway, Nicewood area, MCKillaz. And then when you go to Showbridge area, you had the straight up soldiers, SUS. And then you had me and Farhan and the boys I went to school with. Before we step into town, we used to call ourselves RFG, Rough Fucking Gangsters. I'm going to say that because that's what it was called.
Yeah.
RFGs, which was representing for refugee, because we got called refugees.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
But we turned it into RFG as Rough Fucking Gangsters.
You're reclaiming it. You're like, this is who we are.
But then there was these boys that came about and started a concept of a movement called the Hoodz, HOODZ. and they had came to us and they said that they wanted to do a big a crew, just like everything that was already happening. But they had an idea, and the idea was to reunite the concept of the Crips and the Bloods, and then do this.
Okay.
Yeah, but they already had done it, because when they approached us, I liked the approach. I liked the way they approached everybody. They came in two. There was this guy called Blue, and there was this guy called Daro. And then Daro walked in the hip-hop shop, and then they came with the hip-hop gear, dressed up in hip-hop with the red and blue bandana already tied. And then they will come, and we were LPs, Little Panthers. Black Panthers was ruling, and MCKillaz, we were Little Panthers will fight with MCKillaz. That's other mixture of us in another area.
Yeah.
Black Panthers was fighting with straight up soldiers. Now straight up soldiers also had younger brothers that they were not SUS, they were not later SUS, but they were like SUS. And then they used to come at us. So Little Panthers used to go head to head with all of that. So
it's wild, isn't it? It's like you go somewhere, you set up shop, and suddenly other people set up shop, and suddenly you start becoming rivals.
This Hoodz thing took over everything, because the style, when it was like they were handing over memberships. Do you want to become part of the Hoodz? Yeah. Yeah, you like the movement. You're like, yeah, we like the movement. You like the way you dress, bro.
So was this like a unifying movement?
It was a unifying movement, but we didn't know behind that was more trouble.
Oh.
I'll break it down, make it easier. You get into the group, you get a red and blue bandana, and we were like, oh, what we like movement. Boom, 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 boom. LPs went, all LPs, because now we're representing like the young Black Panthers, and we're running like the city. Any group from outside the city, any group from outside come to scare us, we like LPs, backup is Black Panthers. So Hoodz, all the LPs just went Hoodz. All of them. Hoodz, everybody, new boys, Hoodz. Now Hoodz came like the Eminem into this multicultural of what we had.
Yeah.
But it brought the whole Glasgow, the Scottish scene of hip hop, into Hoodz. So Black Panther was like the black boys and the Iranis, the Somalians. It was very, very black concentrated, escape type of group and movement. And then when Hoodz became, it was like an emerge with the Scottish scene. The Scottish scene that I would almost have fought with when I was in school.
So suddenly it also became a gateway to the local community.
Yeah, the boys that loved hip hop, the Scottish boys that loved hip hop, was what I felt right now. That's what I felt like Daro and Blue represented. But we loved that concept, so we all went boom. Everybody from everywhere went Hoodz. So now Hoodz is doubled and triples and quadruple in numbers. Now when we're in town, the whole Royal Concert Hall used to be a multi-mixed culture of people. Now the whole concert hall is Hoodz.
And that obviously with numbers comes attention.
Black Panthers didn't like that.
Oh, God.
They never show up in town, they start showing up in town. Showing up in town, not to just show up, but to now tell us, little Panthers, you are our littles. You are our littles. We made you. But we're moving with the movement. We're dancing. We're joining groups. We're evolving. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
They didn't like it.
So, and so then you have you have gotten into the local community as well. You've got other communities. It makes sense.
Yeah, they didn't like it. And there was outside sources that concentrated the attention of little Panthers on the Hoodz, like the schemes, groups and all that. And then the Hoodz were just taking over everywhere. So we went to different schools, all of us. Different schools. Sai Hill, Red Road, Castle Milk, Showlands Academy. And now it was like the Hoodz representing Hoodz. Red, blue, red and blue, red and blue, red and blue, red and blue. Now in your school, you can have like 2 Hoodz. Red and blue bandana, but you have like 100 soldiers. Straight up soldiers.
Oh, okay. Oh, God.
In your school, you could be like 3, 4 Hoodz. but you have like 100 MCKillaz.
Yeah, okay. Ooh.
And because there was pressure, because we all went to Trash, which is the under 18 club. That's the place that was our party place. City Center was the place we hang around. So if Hoodz is in Royal Concert Hall, straight up soldier has to spin around and avoid coming to the Royal Concert Hall.
Yeah.
Because there was heat.
Of course.
And if MCKillaz, they were the friendly one, but they were trouble as well, because it was like we had good ones and bad ones. So MCKillaz were the one that can walk into the Hoodz. They can walk into it, like MCKillaz were fine. But because they were also kings and like us, we can clash quick.
Oh, good.
And when we clash quick, and like I'm really good with MCKillaz. So when we clash and we're fighting, when my crowd start fighting with them, I used to trying to save them.
Make peace, make.
When they go, when like it's a clash, when everybody's like, wah, 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 you gotta make peace. So I used to save the MCKillaz. When they fight, they're trying to push each other. I'd be like, yo. I used to feel the need to save the MCKillaz instead of saving my boys. Interesting fact. But from Hoodz, things went south because during daytime, the Hoodz movement that's great for the people, that was good, was a movement that we went and escaped, that were part of this tribe. And nighttime, there was certain people going to do stupid stuff, like causing trouble and drama in other areas.
Yeah, and they're all part of the Hoodz umbrella, as it were.
Yes, and that was representing pretty much the whole thing.
So now you're associated with.
Yeah, now you'll be standing in town attracting police attention. You will now disperse the movement. So now, when we came into town, it was no, you can't come. You have to go elsewhere.
Right, yeah.
You can't come. You have to go elsewhere. Bear in mind, from Torrigland to city center, there's no anywhere else. It's just city center.
Yeah.
So 10 years of city center Saturdays. 10 years of city center Saturdays has now stopped because unnecessary attention.
Yeah. That's just the problem, innit? Of like the moment the numbers grow, then there's bound to be idiots. That's just how it goes.
I look back and I say somebody should have looked at us and felt pity at us and see that they could manage us. We were a good movement. The Hoodz was a good movement. And when we perform in the street, we attracted everyone that wanted to just sit there. Everybody came to see and watch us dance. Promoters start to come to us to promote their clubs. That's another thing we had tapped into. Promoters start to promote us, to use us to promote their clubs.
Yeah, because obviously you bring these good dancers, the youth attention.
Yeah, and then the Trash got burned down. It went on fire. And now there was another club, sub-club, and then there was a Cube, and then there was an extra club that we could go to. And then the split, the promoters divide each other into two, and then some people wanted to go here, some people wanted to go there. And then they wanted the Hoodz because...
Now, so hip-hop's becoming super popular in like Scotland as a culture.
And then there's people now that wanted to make money out of it. But they knew how to move around with the business side of it. So they came and used the Hoodz for popularity. Hoodz gets free entry, VIP access to under 18 clubs and things and that. And then a lot of people go to these places.
And just so I get an idea, how long is this timeline? We're talking 10 years?
Like
all of this is happening in...
So... all of this is happening between 2004, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh, okay. So just 5 years.
Yeah, because tapping out, coming...
Say 4, 5, 6, okay.
Yeah, coming out of the Hoodz, that's when One Blood was created. Because when saying this is my first interview, so taking you to the whole way.
The whole journey,
Yeah. And the Hoodz troubles and police used to come and take us away, would disperse us, go home, don't hang around. But one thing the police didn't understand is this is our place to be. Like,
this was your home.
This is where we are something. Standing around with our hip-hop clothes, dancing in the street with our boombox, watching the crowd pile, give us a little bit of money. Every money we got, we upgraded our boombox. We traveled to Edinburgh, and there was other under 18 clubs over there. It would have turned into a good movement.
There's something very fascinating, which I was thinking about it. I was thinking about it from a stand-up point of view as a comedian, but you find that a lot of these communities all over the world, like these strong, there's like power structures and whatnot, macho, whatever, but they develop on artistic side. It becomes dance. It becomes rap. It's like rap is just poetry. Yeah, let's be honest.
It's fantastic. It's power as well.
Yeah, but no matter how macho the culture is, it develops a side for self-expression, artistic. There's not like around the world. I'm just fascinated by this whole like you're thinking of these strong, representing, but at the same time they're writing poems. They're dancing.
Me being able to stand here today to say I'm an entrepreneur, Rudy King Bantu, claiming all these long lineage of my ancestors and legacy, being able to stand in front of a crowd of people and speak so firmly with so much assurance and affirmity, like dressing the way I dress, like I'm not lauded, right? I'm not a lauded person. I don't live in a fancy house, things like that. But I know there's something about me that's powerful. That's something that I have in me that we don't know is what I call to me victory and success.
We bring it back, yeah.
So today, I understand why I had to go through all of that. The dancing, the Hoodz. I look back in the Hoodz. Sometimes I sit in my room and cry. I say, somebody should have rescued the Hoodz. What a movement. What a movement. What a movement. It wouldn't have just been about money. It would have been about how we broke the barrier. We broke it. The barrier was broken.
Yeah, you've united. Like you brought the locals. You brought all these different groups together.
Yes. It was broken. Like you can't stop that. I remember I went to Cleveland High School. After Castlemilk, we moved to Lincoln Avenue, and then I had to move schools, and then I had to go to Cleveland, and then in Cleveland High School, in Cleveland High School was all the Hoodz. So remember I was telling you
being 102.
Yeah. In Cleveland it was Hood Central. Mario, Moment, all the G's like us. They were in Cleveland Secondary. So it was like the school, like the everything that you could get away with that I didn't trying to get away with in other school. When I walked in, everybody that was Hoodz was getting away with it in that school. They were bullying the teachers. They were bullying the school. They were spinning the school upside down, jumping lunch queues and taking people's foods because everybody knew they were the Hoodz. But one thing that was more fascinating that I love the most is when we did a school show or a school disco, the level of support, my brother. The way the whole school will dress up red and blue, Hoodz, fans, friends. The whole school, red and blue. Boom.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to have a community. It's nice to.
And that just got misunderstood because as much as I was going outside to find myself and be part of something, every single one of them were. If my parent didn't understand me, their parent didn't understand them. By the time Hoodz blew into troubles and the police didn't want us to be together, and wanted to find our ways, we didn't know where to go. And there was people that came up that wanted to use us for events. I remember my experience went from hood, street crazy, performing in the street, to events. Oh, can we hire you? Can we hire you? Charities first. Oh, charities, free event, food. And then
you give me free food, I'm like, let's go.
We start performing in charities, events, parties, Hoodz. The image of Hoodz as the streets recall was not fitted for the image of Hoodz, the performance, because in the street you was like gangs and everything, but in the performance side didn't match. You can't be out there with this name, and so it was like Hoodz was trouble. You didn't want to walk with them.
Yeah. That's what we were saying. You become associated with the worst parts of the group.
And it became that when you were walking around as hoods around town, you end up getting attacked by random people because somebody caused trouble somewhere. That was a hood, that was not you, but you get the trouble because you're wearing a jumper.
You're
representing hoods. And this whole thing started to go south and everything. And I remember we got involved with this youth worker. That's now level. So level one of the story of 2002, 2008, got involved with from hoods to events, and then events performance. Recruited by a youth worker called Robert Mullen. I remember at the time he used to work for Spirit 8. And then he'll get us gigs. We slowly shifted away from the hoods idea from the street. Hoods kind of died down. But I wanted to still perform.
Of course.
So I wanted to still run the whole performance idea. But the boys was like, oh, you can't use hoods because hoods is the hoods, because we used to represent so deep as if it was something. So I was like, okay, One Blood. So that's when One Blood was born. Hashtag 1BLUD. At the time, I had a crew. So we had created a concept called One Blood. Number one blood, number one brothers. Blood is brother in Jamaican.
Right.
Blood. So number one blood. And this youth worker called Robert Mullen he's seen the potential of hoods, but he's seen the late of it.
Because see the dark side of it.
Yeah. He gave us a space, yes. But he knew what he was doing because he knew he gave us the performance a space, but he knew he was looking for something. He knew he can give us a space to be away from being out there to exploit the talent.
Yeah.
He was giving us a space.
That's the other thing you were mentioning is like you had to go to the streets because it's not like you had avenues or it's not like you had. I mean, you had a couple of clubs that would promote you, but on a regular basis of like we're gonna go show off a dance practice.
While I'm talking, I like my wisdom to take over because I don't like. Sometimes when I'm talking, I realize things. So I don't like to say he did bad because I like to highlight all the good things he did. Him doing this to me, One Blood, you like a blood, he's what made us made One Blood. It was like he sees something on us and we didn't see it. Then we used it and created the concept. One Blood. That's how One Blood was. You know what, we are blood. Because we went from Hoodz, which was red and blue, from One Blood, Bloods and Crips, from Black Panthers. There used to be a Black Panther party in America, black movement. And then to One Blood again, which is like the One Blood, because every time people spelled One Blood, they spelled it as the gang, the One Blood, the gang in America. But One Blood was not spelled like that. Behind that, the purpose was just a brotherhood of the circle. But we found out through dance. Dance kept me alive. So I go into One Blood. I'm into it. I lost some of the people that used to be main leaders in LPs and
But you realize that some people are in it for the status. Some people people are in it for different things as well. And then it's you yourself, you're moving forward with the creative aspect. But maybe not everybody is, and that's there's the troublemakers. There's a whole lot of things.
Yes. And then we moved on into One Blood. It became now my passion because now this Robert Mullen guy. It gave everybody time, but it turns out that everybody that was working with us as Hoodz started to suss him out. He was giving us gigs, but getting paid for it. He was not telling them. He was getting us good gigs, give us food, make us feel like VIP. And then, but the ones that was aware, like Mario and Hugh, because Mario, my friend Mario, if you're watching this, you probably know. Mario and Hugh and very smart young boys. At a young age, they wanted to already... When after seeing trash, they wanted to run their own club. Yeah,
because you can this is something that can become a business.
And Mario had his own shop, phone shop, and everything at a young age. So it was quite good. But there was like, no, this guy is doing something dodgy. He's getting paid, he's not giving us. Rah. And then they'd say, we're not going to work with him. So they left. When they left, now the whole Hoodz that was left started to fall apart. Yeah? And then it's me. Now I'm driven. I'm like, dance, yeah. I already did like 6 years of town, city center. I blew out My reputation is big of this black boy dancing in the streets. Hoodz or gang got mixed up in it. Begging in the street got mixed up in it. In fact, between that 5 years, I got named so many names by the African community. And when I mean the African community, I mean the black people that knew me, knew my mom, this neighborhood of Toriglen. They used to call me Demon, Bad Child, Troublemaker, Street Boy, Beggar.
Wow, okay.
Why? Because I was very outside. And their kids wanted to follow me.
Yeah,
They wanted to be outside.
Some of these are like classic stories. You know, you mentioned Robert Melinda, like with the money side. The tale as old as time of the creatives getting a little bit exploited by some guy who's got a bit more business savvy.
The story gets even more smoother. Everybody left me. Mario, Hugh, and all the big heads, because we've done events now. Hood's time was kind of glorious because we done events with Channel 4. We run our own event in the Kevin.
Oh, you got TV attention as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kevin Hall, the big Kevin Hall. We did Summer Jam in the Kevin Hall. We had like thousands. We shut down Buchanan Street for a promotion, where we had a big speaker that came out HMV, and then we just blowing the music and we shut down the whole street. We were performing, giving out tickets. Summer Jam was overpacked because these guys use us for attention that time. We were like the street dance of the city. Precise, just those corporation outside the city that wants to open studios. So we had a whole movement going on. It just needed to be managed. It needed to be managed because you can't mix business and gangs and fighting and breaking the barriers. It became a whole crazy combination. Rabba Mullen saw a good vision.
But he was also a little bit in it for himself.
Yeah.
It would seem.
And
allegedly.
Yeah. Everybody started to leave the Hoodz, and then Mario and the guy used to tell me, "Oh, Rudy, Rabba is playing you." Not me, I was gone. I wanted to be somewhere. I was like, if these guys are gonna give us gigs, let's get the gigs. You get what I mean? But I was blinded by the passion. I was blinded by the drive. I was blinded by the
But there's a
the
hunger
tribe.
as well.
Yeah. I would say I was hungry because it was like town. They kick us away from the stairs. We find the new stairs near the new, where they built the new college there, because we could not get away from town. Where else could we go?
Yeah. There's a lot you're willing to put up with when you're hungry.
Yeah. So rap was the best option. I lost all the brothers in Hoodz. I created One Blood. One Blood recruitment was easy because I was always in the streets. So that's how I met a lot of people in the streets. All the major boys that went through One Blood, that are probably major players right now in the industry of Glasgow, I met them in the streets, performing in the streets, in an under 18 club or in over 18 club, in the streets, or and I would say I met a lot of people in the street instead of meeting them into organization or events. I met more in the streets. And then One Blood will recruit a lot, influence a lot of young ones. Now people will start joining One Blood. Now Hoodz was faded.
It's quite fascinating that the dance industry, you have this, it's very much a down to earth, like it's all happening locally, as you said, on the streets, like, and then somehow it shifts into like the business side of it.
Yeah. It shifted into business real quick. It shifted into business as soon as I met Robert Mulan. And now we were in the building. Bear in mind, we were outside. When I went to the workshop growing up in youth complex and everything, they were not exploiting us. They provided the space. They picked us up and brought us there. They gave us the workshop, just like the woman that provided the workshop for us when we were in Toriglen. R.I.P. to her because she's no longer here. They were not trying to say, "Oh, we have a bunch of young black kids. We providing a safe space for him. We need to receive this much funding and then exploit us." No, they were giving us a space. But with Robert Mullen, it started to become very quick that he was using us, and not for the others to leave him. He did something already dodgy that they left. Yeah. But me, I was caught up with him. So between 2008, into 2010 or 11, I was now with Robert Mulan. My character is built rude boy, king of the dance floor. I adapted the rude boy. You remember I told you?
Yeah.
Rude boy. But rude boy, there was a bit of rudeness with it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
When I look at my
it's
character,
a persona. Yeah.
But rude boy, king of the dance floor, kicked in like this name that came up with them. I just used to claim this, grab on into these things. Rude boy, king of the dance floor. I'm the king of the dance floor. I was like, yeah, I'm dancing on the street. I'm dancing. I'm the king of the dance floor. Okay, good. I claim this crown. Yeah, right in the middle of Scotland. The street dance was powerful because it started to influence black boys. Black boys in areas are knowing, oh, this black boy in town. While I'm doing all of that, I've been kicked out of my house. I missed a point. Oof. But the story, Jesus.
And there's a lot here, man, because it's like you're navigating it, you're growing as a person, you're trying to fit in, but trying to discover who you are at the same time, but also there's trouble.
Yeah, I moved from Torrington to Lincoln Avenue because I'm going to Cleveland Secondary. My mom took me to Drum Chapel High School to enroll. I didn't want to go to Drum Chapel because MCKillaz school. Right. Yeah, MCKillaz school. Yeah. And there's a lot of them all over there. So I was like, no. And she pulled me in the school. I did an induction, but I didn't go. I went to induct myself in Cleveland. When I'm watching this, looking back, this is the truth. I inducted myself into Cleveland. And I keep telling them, Mom is coming, but she never showed up. I lasted 4 months in that school. You can understand the influence. It was my school, Hoodz school.
Yeah.
And I got kicked out for something I didn't do. I was just present.
Right.
It was because of Happy Slap. I don't know if you know Happy Slap. Never know Happy Slap?
No.
London people started this thing where they slap people for fun and they record it with the dodgy Nokia phones at the time. So Happy Slap, and then you had Pow, Lifo Bezo. Pow song came out, and then they'll make videos of Happy Slaps. So we adapted the idea.
Oh, okay.
Just happy slapping people. So my friend did some happy slaps, and then slapped some boy, filmed it, and one in lunchtime, and then I got into trouble and I got expelled from school. Oof. And I was not the one that slapped the guy, and I was just there in lunchtime, and that was me. I didn't go to school anymore. But prior to all of that, I'd been kicked out from the house at the age of like 15, 16 by my mom. She was like, too late. You're coming home too late. You're always out. All this stuff. And this is what she did before she kicked me out. I came back home one day in London. She took all my clothes. Bear in mind, I'm a clothes person. I had legion of clothes, outfits, trainers, TK Maxx, Foot Locker.
I love a TK Maxx.
Yeah. She cut it. She cut the shoes in two, so there's no revival. She cut all the clothes and then she pulls petrol and she light it on fire.
My God.
When I came back home, clothes was on fire. She said, this is what you want to play with me? From today on, you're out of the house.
Oh my God. The heartbreak.
I was shocked, confused, and all of this. There's a man influence behind it. I'll put it out there because this is my first interview. There was a man influence behind her, all our decisions and everything. But at that time, I got pulled out of the house now. Now, I came from Tory Glen to school. I'm doing all these battles. I'm in town, finding my tribe.
Where are you staying?
She kicked me out, so now I'm out with no clothes, no nothing. The whole rude boy king of the dance floor was about to wake up into a new level. Now they burn my clothes. So I have no clothes, no rep to stand looking good in town. But I have a very big reputation. So I stayed outside that day in the bottom of the flat in Lincoln Avenue. I slept in a bench. And you bear in mind, in all the other flats, I've got friends like Levis, Albano, and all the other people. I didn't want to go there and be like, oh, let me stay. The next morning, I went to see a friend. And I told them I got kicked out and everything. He took me to his other friend called AD, some boy from Armani. And then that's the next day.
Armenia?
Yeah, Armenia, yeah. Speak Swahili and all that.
Okay.
And then he took me there and he took me to this flat. And I come into this flat, 1-bedroom flat, and then this AD guy, he tells me, I hardly live here, bro. You can stay here until you find somewhere to stay.
Now it all makes sense. Because it's not like you were sticking with the Hoodz and the one, but because on the one hand, you needed it also.
Yeah, I needed it. I got this flat. He gave me it for nothing. Bear in mind, I just got kicked out from my mom's house the day before. And then now I had this new place in the flat in Carkton Avenue, the first block. Now I had a flat. Now I was like 16, 17, so I'm very young to have a flat.
Yeah.
Yeah?
To have all that independence.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
The freedom that my mom could not teach me. I felt like I needed guidance. Control my movement, mom. The same way you dress me up with the clothes and the all the good trainers, shape up this Rudy King that's wanna be whatever. Shape me up. No. She didn't understand it.
Yeah, of course.
Her men didn't understand it.
Did you ever, I just got to ask this, did you ever manage to patch this up? And
I felt like I've patched it up in a certain way. Yes.
you made peace, there's been forgiveness.
Yes. I made peace and forgiveness with my mom, yes. I managed to unleash it. I felt like 29-30, that's when it happened.
Oof,
so it only happened like 4 years ago.
It took a while.
Yeah?
I mean, understandably so as well.
So...
It's I was quite lucky, but my dad, he's had a whole rock and roll. He had a fight with his stepdad and things like that. So I understand that it takes a long time for that to get over that, to deal with that. Because I saw him. I'm a child, I'm looking at my dad, and he still talks about it sometimes,
Yeah.
So it's not something that just...
That just goes away.
Yeah.
And the freedom that I was looking for was not just the freedom. I think I needed understanding. Freedom was always there. My mom think that I had freedom. She allowed that freedom. I wouldn't go and went outside if she didn't let me go outside. Can I go outside? That's why we went outside. Mom, can I go outside? That's how we went outside.
So what you're saying is you were missing the direction.
Yeah. So with all this rap outside, trying to direct this energy I had someone, she couldn't. So what she wanted to do, she wanted to cut it.
She wanted to put down, like, in a way, I don't know, I mean,
I
don't know, but it's almost like she wanted to, like...
Put her foot down.
Say, wake you up of, like, this is what's happening.
Don't go outside. Dancing is not this, da-da-da. Dancing is not da-da-da. All of this, da-da-da. All of this, da-da-da. The black people are talking. Do you know, there was a message that went all the way to Congo to my father saying, Rudy's begging for money in the streets. That's because of the street dancing and the bucket and all that,
Yeah. First of all, that's called busking, first of all.
Yeah. And then there was also more saying that Rudy was begging money playing the guitar. I was not playing the guitar, but that's just interpretation of how people...
Story gets out, transforms.
So many name calling, and without knowing, I would go to these places where there is these black people in parties and community. I would show up, I'm nice, I'm polite, and I'm like, don't know, these parents are looking at me like that. So I got this flat. Rude boy king of the dance floor with a flat.
That's very good on the one hand. Every teenage boy's dream. On the other hand, madness.
Bro! My house was packed with fairy people every day. It was not my house, but the house I got given.
Yeah.
Fairy people every day. Everybody that could not be anywhere in town.
Or at home. Or...
Bear in mind, we don't have a spot anymore. Is he in town?
Yeah.
Get kicked out. I find a little refuge with Rob, with One Blood, and I've got my little flat. I'm popular.
Well, yes, understandably so.
I'm a people person. Everybody wanted to come to my flat. My flat was probably fairy people. Over there, teenage youth things, drinking, all type of stuff happening.
Let's leave it at that.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. So, from there, between that, I had met this girl. Nikita at the time. She's been in the X Factor. X Factor showcase with like the same section, same episode with Leona Lewis.
Okay.
Yeah. So on that time, she came out like fifth, and Leona Lewis won the show. Leona Lewis, won the show. So I was like, I dating her at the time, and I was dating her when I was a Hoodz. So I was chasing her when I was a Hood, and she would be the type of girl that didn't hang around with the street boys.
Yeah.
We were the street boys.
So you had to whip up your reputation a little bit.
She just dated like the Black Panthers. They're older than us, innit? But then I came to realize I was not far off from the Black Panthers. We pretty much, we were just far away from ages. You know what I mean? So I was dating her at the time, and then we got into a relationship. So I did all crazy stuff when I was with that girl, and then we broke up, and she moved to London while we were about to move to London together.
So that one, that's a tough one.
So between that and four, so I was with her for 4 years. Between that period, she was a singer. She sang and I was dancing. So I was this street boy, one blood. She was this Nikia singer. Now she's making music with Black Panthers. She's making music with Black Panthers, all the IBs and Sammy Omars and all that. She was making music with them. They were the rappers, but we were dancing. So there was already a little market there. She's dating a dancer, I'm dating a singer. But I was troubled, and then we broke up, and then I was about to move to London because she had pitched the idea to me that it would be good me and her in London.
Yeah, I mean London is always quite alluring.
Me and her in London would be good because I'm a dancer, she's a singer. We'll be able to thrive together as a
power couple, artistic.
But I didn't get there because I did some messy stuff, and then me and her we broke up. We didn't have a relationship anymore. Now bear in mind, all of that happened between 4 years. So I was living in that flat in Carlton Avenue, and then the Carlton Avenue flat got even in trouble because of the amount of people who used to come there. It was just so packed. And then there used to be police. They used to come and close the house and tell us to leave. AD used to tell me, Rudy, stop bringing people to the house. It's too many noise, da. And then eventually he pulled me out. 4 years. He let me stay there for 4 years. And he never charged me any money.
I mean, that's an angel.
He never charged me any money for the rent. I just used to top up electricity and buy food. I felt like in that moment,
some good fortune.
Yeah, I felt like in that moment, like if they said God comes in handy, I feel like in my journey, God has always been there by my side. It's always been there. So coming out of that flat, then I started to do what you call immigrating in different areas. Moving with different friends in different houses, in different areas, while moving with one blood and Robert. Yeah? So
now you're like crashing.
Yeah. I'm working with Robert doing gigs. Bro, I gigged. This guy, Robert, you know what? Robert Mullet, I'll hand it over to him. In my life, my whole entire experience in Scotland, I only met 2 people that were able to give me value. They put me at places, they gave me gigs, they put me in an event, they told me, Rudy, you, there's something about you. Robert Mullen and Gurjas Marker. Robert Mullen, he gave this time, although you write those applications from say he was helping me, he was helping me. Give me a roof, painted mirror in this place. It used to be called Glasgow Wide at the time. And I would go outside, go crazy, do what I did, and then bring people in. And we'll train there, and he'll take us to the gigs. Bro, in 1 year, I can guarantee you I did at least 1,000 performances with Robert Mullen. Tea in the Park, Glastonbury, festivals, West End Festival, Glasgow Mirror Festival, Merchant City Festival, Shoreland Festival, Queen Parks Festivals, Radisson Hotel, Celtic Park parties, Rangers Stadium, Motherwell Football Stadium, clubs, every club that's changed, redone, revamped, I've performed in every single club. I've done some jobs with Cadbury chocolate sponsor. I've done some job with big events just by taking one blood crew like it was performing. We used to go and perform in Barhead, just like here. You know, we finished performing, they would chase the van because they were amazed of this little group of 10 people that come and they dance, they're so hip-hoppy, crazy, like what they see on TV. We used to really represent with one, but Robert really took us to places. And he used to tell me, say, you, Rudy, you guys are like Mardi Gras. You like Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah.
You like hip-hop revival. I think hip-hop revival is one of my company.
Yeah. This is what I'm thinking of it. All this is laying the foundation and the groundwork of who you are today as a business person. He
spoke life into me without me knowing he was speaking life. I think I just saw the downfalls of him, or the parts. I misjudged his presence in my surrounding during the period that he was with me, of his importance of what he was doing in my life. That's what I was saying now. Because I look back and I'm like, nah, he played a part. If it wasn't him, who?
Fair enough.
Gigs, bro. Oh, we did gigs. And my crew got bigger and bigger. Now, bear in mind, I'm taking the same prototype I used with the Hoodz. I'm just going outside. I'm outside, I'm in the streets. People are coming. Yo, bro, I like join one blood. But I was not going with the old gang idea. I was going with the old dance idea.
Yeah.
And people wanted to be part of dance and see us in the street. They hang around. And then now One Blood was born. And now I had numbers of people coming through and to be part of this tribe that had dancing involved, and I was leading, and it was working. People coming from Kosaif and coming from other area that I was One Blood. Gigs, performance. And then sometimes I saw money, sometimes I didn't. I perform in places.
I feel like it kind of brings it back to the question of, so what is success now? Finding me. Like, I am success. Rudy is success. Rudy King Bantu is success. Hip Hop Revival is success. Success to me is so plain. You see, I'm standing right here and I can't imagine what I could do if all the things that I'm working on were to become what I wanted to become, like that. I can't imagine if I would be able to, what I'll be able to do. Like if I had all the ideas of businesses I've got right now up and running. I love my people so much. I don't know. I wouldn't know what to do. Yeah, that can be a challenge sometimes. Like you have too many ideas. Yeah. And like which one am I gonna run with?
Yeah, I wouldn't know what to do. And for now, I understood the beauty of my journey, because now I used to say I wanted to be a businessman like my father. I'm like, now I understand where I was going with it. You know what I mean?
You went through all that.
Yeah. And I always said I wanted to be a businessman. My father was a businessman. You know, import, export. That was my dad. Yeah. Everything on my outside, he brings it inside.
Yeah.
I didn't know how I was going to afford into business. I went to Langside College to do business. I also went to Langside College to do business. I didn't last long. I was distracted. I was not focused. The same distraction I was running away from in high school, I got caught up in Langside College with friends and distraction. I was in charge. I was free. I didn't have nobody to guide me. I was still living, navigate from flat to flat. I already been kicked out. So I couldn't focus. I was just driven to dance. It was dance that kept me going, because if there was no dance, how do I know I was like still gonna be here? Do you know what I mean?
I mean, that's what I kind of want to ask now, just because I'm slightly aware of the time. I don't want to. How it's more about I'm aware of how much space I have on my camera.
Oh, that's fine.
But what I wanted to ask is, so all this leads up to now, how many businesses you run now?
I would say 4.
Right.
And they are not what I don't want anybody that's listening to this to look at it and say, oh, you got 4 business, how successful is it? Yeah? I don't want them to look at it that way, because people will look at it anyways. I want them to know that they should be afraid to us coming. They should be afraid to what I'm going to do.
Yeah,
the fact that I know that I can make more than just 4 business.
Like, you're not done yet.
Yeah, I'm not done yet.
Far from it.
Or like I used to say, they've not seen the best of me yet. 4, all based around creative and dance. So I have One Blood Dance Club, which is the main One Blood crew, One Blood Dance Club. The reason I turned it into a dance club because I wanted to be a place that I can be able to still do what I did in the past 15 years for everybody.
Yeah.
But now for it to be a tribe where they can be part of it. Like
And,
all the
the
dance
safety and the
all the dance schools have got their tribes, their names representing themselves or their businesses. I want mine to be also represented because I have this really strong, powerful influence towards the student that I've taught, the people that I've worked with. I don't want it to just be something that's talked about like a past tense. I want it to be something that remains. When you hear One Blood, you know like, oh yeah, that guy, yeah, him.
So we got One Blood Dance Club.
One Blood Dance Club, which I run every week. A dance club. I provide street dance classes, hip hop classes, break dance classes. I do freestyle. I teach. I mentor 1-to-1, 2-on-2. I go and teach in other places, other schools and workshops and such. I also run Bust the Beat Dance to Fitness.
Right. Is that like a fitness type of?
Yeah, it comes through dance, but also emerging to fitness.
Right, makes sense.
I started as a program, but now it's a business, and the aim behind it is to empower more adults into dance to fitness because there's things like Zumba, dance exercise, and all that kind of stuff. I decided to myself that if all these motivation speakers or motivation on fitness can do it their way, my way is going to be different. I'm Rudy King Bantu. I'm not like everybody else. If
Fair.
you dance exercise, you street fit, you street fitness, and you are this exercise, I'm Bust the Beat Dance to Fitness because I'm Rudy King Bantu. My fitness way, my way of bringing my program to people to uplift them through dance and fitness is different than what the normal day people will do. So that's another one. And I also have Hip Hop Revival Entertainment, which is the network, the daddy. Through the story you would have heard when I was talking to Rob, I used to say Hip Hop Revival Entertainment was what it was. I had created Hip Hop Revival Entertainment. I brought the name out. We created a logo for it, and then recently I'm trying to register it as a social enterprise because I realized the potential of
like an events type of.
So with Hip Hop Revival Entertainment, I'm supposed to cover like music, dance, art, lifestyle, and community type of work because I do events, I work with artists, and then I do a lot of classes, and I navigate around the community with all different types of in different types of field, and I'm quite good at empowering and directing and giving advice and also training somebody to be able to bring the best out of them in terms of a particular skill. But those skills has to be in the creative sector like music, dance, art, lifestyle, and that's how I managed to be able to be in this industry with the network that I work, and to give myself this presence in places that I can step into. So Hip Hop Revival is basically the umbrella of the network, everything I do. But it's also a company itself. So through Hip Hop Revival Entertainment, I work with artists in relations, so I can get dancers. I get dancers together. I work on a product, and then I take them out to perform. But they go out and perform as One Blood because One Blood is the dance crew that's known. So through Hip Hop Revival Entertainment, I organize events like dance events, showcase events, where I bring artists like rappers, dancers, musicians, and I've did a bunch of shows in the past like Street Jam, Urban Blast, Jumpy Christmas, Halloween Street Jam, the showcase, the production, the big bounce.
You're a busy man.
And these are events that went past, but looking at it, I did that because I was creative. I didn't do it because I was supported. I did that because I was creative. I did it because I just wanted to do it. If I was the type of person that would listen to people, I would not never done nothing.
It's fair. I mean, based on what you've told me, it's not like you had the support. You had to just claw and fight for everything.
When I find out that Rob was making money from me, so you see, I'm talking about in, out, because there's so much missing out. But I'm trying to relate it. When I find out that Rob was making money out of me, getting funding, loads of funding. I've been with him for 2 years. He never paid me enough and all that type of stuff. And through my friend Gujas comes. Now Gujas, we grew up together in Torigland, Asian boy from India. When I got into town, busy, distracted, he stayed in school.
Oh, well behaved.
When he came out of school, that's when he came and see me. When he came and see me, I'd done 4, 5, 6 years of madness outside. By the time he came and find me, I was now with rap. Hoodz period, Helpies period, everything had passed. He came and find me with rap. And we just was asking questions. What do you do here? What do you do here? And the more question he was asking turns to reveal that there was something off with what I was doing, because he wanted to know where is the structure.
And that's how you finally...
That's where if I find out that Rob was cheating me, because we just came to Celtic Park. I told him, come, bro, I'm performing in Celtic Park. Come to Celtic Park, you like it. It was a party for Alpha Borage. He was coming back to play for Celtic and all that. And then we were in the back in the VIP, lost, young kids like I was. Never know anything, just enjoying. Never asked questions, didn't ask money questions, nothing. I just enjoyed it. We just came back and gave me a check of 1,500 pounds. He said, it says one blood screw on it. He said, did you know you were getting a check? That's because he came in like I invited him, spoke very nicely to everyone. The guy that was organizing the event was Indian, connected with Gujas like that. Oh, I like you, but I don't like rap. The Indian guy was telling Gujas he doesn't like rap. He thinks that Rab is cheating the kids he's playing with. And then he gave Gujas the check. That's just for you guys, because...
And that's how you find out.
That's how I find out that Rab was playing me. And then when Gujas showed me the check, I stood in front of him before that door. And then I had 2 years flashback out of my face. And I was hurt. But I woke up that day, because I was aware Rab was cheating me. He was getting money paid. He was telling me, go do this. You can do everything. He empowered me, but he also cheated me.
Yeah.
I called, when he came, he saw that we had the check and trying to play all dumb. That the next day I called him out and he trying to cry and everything. No, that was me. I was gone.
Fair enough. Before we move on, I want to hear the fourth business.
The fourth business. So I have One Blood Dance Club, Buster Beat Dance to Fitness, Hip Hop Revival Entertainment, and Connect Production. In fact, 5. Connect Production Agency.
Right.
I started Connect Production Agency. I done the last year or the year before when I came out of lockdown, because it became very apparent to me that I have access to too many talent, and some of these talent are not getting well represented. And yes, and there is something I could do that's different from the managers and the agents that's betrayed me for those talents.
Okay, I mean, at this point, I mean, you've been in the industry for long enough. You've hustled yourself. You've made the connections. It makes sense.
And I start to understand a partnership, team effort. I met this new girl now. I've got this new girl in my life. It's pinned my heart upside down. Super in kind and everything. She's made me understood that it's okay, Rudy. You are very clever. You're very smart. You're very passionate. But sometimes it's okay to give somebody else the job to help you.
Yes, you can't be doing everything by yourself.
She crushed my heart. I cried for an hour. I didn't know I could hand over a role to someone to do it also. I was so in tunnel vision. I didn't know.
I mean, you've been fighting long enough by yourself in a way. That
and then when she said, it's okay, I will help you. And then when she said that, and I'm trying to look into it, and I realized, bro, you've been running like Vegeta or something. You could have just went, oop, here you go, here you go, here you go, here you go. But then I wouldn't have known how to manage them. I couldn't manage myself. So it had to be me. And then I started to hand over some roles. I was scared. I couldn't let her fix my flyer. I couldn't let her fix my flyer. Give her flyer. And we do some classes. I give her the money. I'm like...
Yeah, we were at you, finally handing over business a little bit and allowing your girlfriend.
Yes. And through doing that with her, I actually find healing. And I didn't know that I wouldn't say traumatized, but yeah, I feel like a little bit. I was insecure, a little bit paranoid, and I didn't trust.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're doing all these things in like in a workaholic kind of way of like just trying to fill a void that's not healed yet.
Yes. And by her helping me and taking my phone and doing some of my flyers, and I did a couple of events. And when I did some of these events that I was doing before, she went full 100 on it, supporting me, flyers printed, let's print t-shirt. And then her mom got involved and she was helping me. And then I did the Halloween street jam in the place I like recently. That's all of this stuff happened recently. And I got this sense of support. The support that I would have got, but if I allowed myself to, in a certain place. So there's a little segment that I've missed after Robert, because Good Jazz that came after Robert. There was also a part of my life there that I learned, because Good Jazz came in and he was like fixing and trying to reboot the places that Rob had put a little bit of darkness in.
Trying to basically almost like revamp the image and trying to get the life back into it.
He was organized. He came from school. He was going to GMAC, learning about video camera. There was a program used to run GMAC on Trongate. And we just basically give up how do you call it? He gave up a apprenticeship to go to work in Pinewood Studio in London.
Yeah.
Pinewood Studio is
I'm familiar with Pinewood Studios, west of London. I went there for a couple of classes.
Yeah, he was given a apprenticeship to work there, and to go and work there for like 2-3 years. Like he's gonna study work. He's gonna get paid because his ideas and things were good. Could just decide to give up the apprenticeship so he can come on the journey with me for hip hop revival.
Oof. That's someone who believes.
So the journey goes on after rap. Now I'm with Good Jazz. It was like levels, because with Good Jazz is now picked me up from rap, doing events and all this stuff. And then Good Jazz now is formal, brain, mind, book, pen.
Structure.
Good Jazz wanted us to meet up every morning at 8 a.m. in Sentinel Center. I could be in Timbuktu, whatever, my phone will ring, 7:30. Good Jazz. Rudy, where are you? Bro, it's 7:30. We have a meeting at 8:30 in Sentinel. Okay, bro, I'm coming. We'll come and I arrive and they have a hot chocolate ready for me. What do you want to eat? You always say that. What do you want to eat? What do you want to eat? I'll order full breakfast. I'll eat. He'll pay for it. And then he'll ask me one question. What do you want to do? And he had a pen. Because I felt like he understood. Like I was a machine. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
What do you want to do, Rudy? What's next? That's the kind of things we just used to ask me. And I say, and I'll speak, the dance class, street, perform. And he's writing. And then when he finished, he said, okay, slow down. Dance classes, event, crew, merchandise. How about we stick to these 4? Or the rest of it, we'll catch up with it later.
That's fair.
I'm like, okay. Started the dance classes. Now, bear in mind, I've been doing all of this. No dance classes. I was not teaching anything. This is the step into dance classes world. We're about to step into teaching. We went to LA Fitness. LA Fitness. Good Jazz can sell anything. Good Jazz can sell a piece of paper on the floor. He comes, he talks with his pen. LA Fitness, hey, prices were £35. We just made them put the price all down to fair. It's £16. Boom, we were in LA Fitness classes. One Blood street dance classes.
Nice.
One Blood crew management. One Blood crew was the leftover of what we had as Hoodz for dancers, right? A couple of MCKillaz that dance was now in One Blood. All the ones that love to dance fell into One Blood. One Blood was the new way, the new Hoodz, but in dance and creative. Structure came. Gujas came, started to structure everything.
I feel like the best thing we can do, as I mentioned before off camera, I feel like this is gonna need
Part
a part
two,
two.
part
This is gonna
two,
need a
part
part
two,
two
part
because
two.
you have so many stories.
So let's
but
do
this is
this,
a good. This is a good spot.
Ask me this. Ask me something. Ask me the question that's not gonna take me to a long journey to talk about.
Well, I'm
everything.
gonna ask you a very simple closing question, and we're gonna have to do a part two because you have a fascinating. You know,
a lot to release out there.
It's a very simple question. What's the Congolese food that British people need to know about?
The Congolese food that British people need to know about is fufu, pondu, na soso. Fufu is like
the white flour.
Yeah. Pondu is like green leaves that's been like bashed up. The ones here, you get them, they're frozen. Yeah, they're frozen and then you have to put on hot water and then it unmelt itself. But the ones back home, they were big leaves. You mash them up until they turn into tiny, they become very tiny, very mashed up, and then you cook it from there. Soso is chicken.
Okay.
Lingala. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to find this and find a photo of it. It sounds delicious already.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We will be doing a part two.
Well, thank you, bro.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, bro, for actually doing this because although like I've not done a lot, I would like there was times when I was talking, I can feel deep inside me like my emotion cooking.
You've lived a lot.
Normally I'll get some tears because these moments are powerful to me. But there was time where I felt this emotion piled up in my chest and then I spoke and then it just went away. To me, it shows that I did find healing in many places. Because when I speak about it, I want it to be something that when you look at the story, for those people that don't know how far I've came and where I am, where I'm right now and where I'm going, they'll be able to understand that, they'll be able to know the real me. Because I feel sometimes the real me is getting, it's not known. They don't know it.
Yeah, there's all this posturing and all this that you had to do.
They don't know it, yeah.
They know the reputation, but not the person.
Yeah, they know the reputation, but they don't know the person.
That's fair. Man, thank you so much. We will be picking this up again.
Yeah, wait for part two.